Melbourne, one of the most livable cities 7 years running. Founded in 1835, it has now grown into a city with a population of over 5 million people, with 8.5% of that being of Chinese ancestry. Today, Melbourne is one of the most sought-out travel destinations around the world. We're going to be exploring Melbourne in the most cost-effective method, and that's using the City Circle tram. The Melbourne City is designed in a grid system known as the Hoddle grid. Within the Hoddle grid, you will find there is a free tram zone that is only special to Melbourne and you won't find anywhere else in the world. You can take a free tram along the free tram zone within the boundaries of Victoria Street, Spring Street and Flinders Street. Now, along the free tram zone, there is a special tour guide that can take you to all the famous destinations within Melbourne for free and give you valuable information about each destination. And that is the City Circle tram. The City Circle tram runs on route number 35. It takes roughly around 55 minutes to complete the entire loop around Flinders Street, Spring Street, Latrobe Street and the Harbour Esplanade. The tram runs every 12 minutes in a clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. The trams used in the City Circle tram are called a W-class tram. The W-class trams are electric trams built between 1923 and 1956 in the Preston workshops. They stayed the mainstay of Melbourne in the tramway system for over 60 years, with 752 different variants being built. The trams were then reintroduced in 1994 as a service that runs around the city loop. It was then extended into Docklands in 2003. Now, with only 12 variants of these trams left, it not only serves as a cultural icon of Melbourne, but also a great tourist attraction to see the beauty of the city of Melbourne. Now, today we're going to be riding the City Circle tram to take you to 4 different cultural icons around Melbourne. Each of these cultural icons presents their own unique stories and histories, so let's go check them out. Central railway station in Melbourne, as it is the only train station here that serves the entire Metropolitan Railway system. It is the busiest station in the Melbourne Metropolitan Network and also the busiest railway station in the whole of Australia. It records up to a daily of 77,315 passengers a day, according to the 2017 and 2018 fiscal year. It was also the first railway station in an Australian city and also the world's busiest railway station in the late 1920s. The main building itself is an icon of Melbourne, the Art Nouveau style building completed in 1909 with its arched dome and its predominant clock is a cultural icon to the Melbourne city. Fun fact, the station also holds the longest platform in the entire Australia of 708 meters. It is also the 4th longest platform of the world. Directly opposite our Flinders Street station is obviously the Federation Square. It is a public space that is used for a lot of arts, culture and public events. It incorporates major cultural institutions such as ACMI, the Ian Potter Centre and the Koorie Heritage Trust. As you can see now, it's clearly obviously holding a Christmas display. It runs events all year round, so it's definitely worth coming here for a quick pit stop. Now also around this area, there are a variety of laneways that people can visit. If you are a coffee lover like myself, then you have come to the right place. Melbourne is the coffee capital of Australia. And one of the best places to get a coffee or even a small bite to eat is actually right behind me in the Grape Street. The Grape Street features a numerous amount of bars, cafes, restaurants and shops. With its Art Deco design and canopies and umbrellas, it gives a very familiar European flavour. With many different delicious restaurants and cafes, it's definitely worth coming here to fill up your stomach. If you're an artistic person and looking for a place to take some great Instagram photos, then I highly recommend you come and get Hosier Lane a visit. Hosier Lane has made the urban art scene in Melbourne known across the globe. It features a dizzying array of colours, characters and shapes from both local artists as well as international artists. Now that we've visited one of Melbourne's most iconic icons, it's time for us to visit the place that governs the city of Melbourne. Arrived at the Parliament House. The Parliament House is the meeting place for the Parliament of Victoria and one of the Parliaments of Australia. Construction for the Parliament House officially began in 1855. The first stage of the Parliament House officially opened the following year after, with different sections being completed throughout the following decades. However, not many people know that the Parliament House was actually never completed. It was originally a planned dome to be built on top of the Parliament House and is currently the most well-known unbuilt feature of Melbourne. Currently, the Parliament House is still being used for the Parliament of Victoria, with 2 chambers, one for the Legislative Assembly and one for the Legislative Council. The Parliament House also holds public tours throughout the weekdays starting from 9:30 a.m. all the way through to 4 p.m. Now, the stairs leading up to the Parliament House is also a very famous picture-taking spot. There's a lot of wedding photographers coming in to take wedding photos as well as a bunch of Instagram photos. Now, opposite the Parliament House also holds a various amount of different bars and restaurants where people can come and enjoy a drink or two. Normally people after work will come down here and get a nice beer or a nice glass of wine before heading home. It's truly a place to come if you're here in Melbourne during the night time. Next to the Parliament House is the Parliament Garden. A very relaxing garden where families will come to have a nice picnic or even cool off. The cascading fountain behind me called the Coles Fountain. Now that we've experienced the wonderful Parliament House and the area surrounding it, I think it's time for us to go and learn a bit more about the history of Melbourne and just relax. Woo! Our third stop of the day today is the State Library. It's Australia's oldest public library and one of the first free libraries in the world. Established in 1854 as the Melbourne Public Library, it now holds a vast collection of over 2 million books and 350,000 pictures, maps, manuscripts and newspapers with a special focus on Victoria. It also includes diaries of our city founders as well as folios of Captain James Cook. Now, within the library, it holds 7 different reading rooms. In each of the different rooms, it has different varieties of books where people can sit and learn about the history of Melbourne as well as the history around the world. Outside the library holds a grassy lawn that is a popular lunch spot for both city university students as well as city workers. Now, as you can see on the grassy lawn, they also hold 3 different statues, each with their own different unique story and history. The statue in the middle is the memorial statue of Mr. Justice Sir Redmond Barry. Redmond Barry was a colonial judge in the state of Victoria. Yet his most famous criminal that is sentenced to death is actually the bushranger Ned Kelly. Now, flanking the library is 2 different statues of 2 different kinds of stories. The one on the right depicts the story of St. George and the dragon. The story about St. George slaying the demonic dragon that demanded human sacrifices. To the left of the library is the statue of Jean d'Arc, a famous France warrior as well as hero to all. To the right of the State Library is the famous RMIT University, the biggest university campus in the entire Melbourne CBD. Founded in 1887, it is known for its contemporary architecture as well as its amazing academics, especially in the area of arts. It is now a well-known university known across the world, attracting students from every single nation. And guess what? I'm also from this university too. Now, we can't forget to mention that directly opposite the State Library is our Melbourne Central, one of the biggest department stores in the CBD, also linking up with Emporium Department Centre, with many famous retail brands and also a fantastic food court. It's a great place to do some shopping as well as get some nice, good food to eat. Now, previously we visited one of Melbourne's most historic train stations. Now we're going to visit a modern rendition of the Melbourne Railway Network. Boom! Arrived at our final stop of the day, Southern Cross Station, or as it formerly used to be known as Spencer Street Station. Originally opened up in 1859, 5 years after the famous Flinders Street Station. The two, however, were not actually linked until 1879. Now, Southern Cross Station mainly served as the regional railway network, with services going to Sydney as well as Adelaide and rural Victoria. Now, in the 2000s, Southern Cross Station went through a huge redevelopment starting in 2002 and finishing by 2006 with the 2006 Commonwealth Games here in Melbourne. The new design of the station features a undulating roof design of a wave shape. Winning the Lofton Prize, it serves as a form of sustainable architecture, using its waves form to tackle the hot external climate and using internal cooling as a way of natural ventilation. Now, the station also holds as a social hub here in Melbourne, as it opened its own shopping district back in 2006 with major retail outlets as well as many restaurants and cafes. Apart from the shopping district, the new redevelopment also opened up a new bus terminal. The bus terminal features the famous Sky Bus Shuttle link. For only $19.75, the shuttle will take you directly to both Tullamarine and Avalon Airport. Now, Subway Station leads to many different locations, whether it be going to Sydney or Adelaide, within the Melbourne metropolitan area, or even to rural Victoria. There is one place that is a lot closer than most people have anticipated, with only a 5-minute walk without having to catch any of the public transport we went on today. And that is Docklands, which is where we're headed next time. You can take trams for free. You can take trams for free. Flinders Street, Spring Street, and Victoria Street. Incorporate a lot of major Good? Good? Alright.